Guyana Election Day started yesterday with an unfounded accusation of Venezuelans firing shots to Guyana Electoral Commission, setting up schools for today's voting, which is obviously fake news, as Venezuela is extremely occupied on detering United States intentions of war throughout the Southern Caribbean. The government of Irfaan Ali claims that Guyana fired back. For some reason, there is a narrative portraying Venezuelans as butchers. All we have been doing about Essequibo is claiming Guayana Esequiba through the Geneva Agreement. Our armed forces have not entered the disputed region, and we are actually fighting aggression from the United States, which is accusing us of drug traffickers, even though most drug traffic comes through the Pacific. In any case, we investing nationhood win party, led by Asruddin Mohammed, claims inaccuracies, inefficiencies, inconsistencies, and irregularities in the voting process. Yesterday night, PPP was actively campaigning while campaign season had already ended, and today in the morning there were spots teaching people how to vote for the PPP and offering them money, according to Win Campaign. International observers, however, have pushed a narrative of a peaceful and calm process, and we could see videos of young voters exacerbating the narrative of a peaceful voting process, while the black, yellow, and red PPP flag was being exposed. There were a number of reports of voters who were supposed to be able to vote at specific polling stations online. Those reports were made available online yesterday, but when they showed up in person today to schools, they were told that they were not on the voter roll. Hopefully they all could vote at a later time, and the polls just closed a few minutes ago, and we should be waiting the results during the next few hours or perhaps couple of days. Meanwhile, the United States Navy issued a report regarding Iwo Jima ships deployed in domestic Puerto Rico southern waters in the Caribbean, which is approved maritime waters of the United States of America, which are nevertheless close to the maritime border of Venezuela, which extends all the way to the north parallel 16 degrees. As long as the United States conducts its military exercises with Iwo Jima ships on domestic United States Puerto Rico territorial waters south of the island of Puerto Rico, all should be fine. However, Puerto Rico is Northern Caribbean. Puerto Rico is not Southern Caribbean. So it would be interesting that the United States makes a distinction, because when they speak about Southern Caribbean, that's really close to Venezuela, while Northern Caribbean actually holds some of Venezuela's territorial waters, but it's further away from Venezuela's coast and actually closer to Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic shores. It is interesting that a few days ago, United States ships were ordered to avoid entering Curaçao territorial waters. Perhaps Venezuelan deployment of massive drones, airplanes, and Venezuelan Navy ships into our domestic waters is providing needed deterring effect. However, both navies, Venezuelan Navy and United States navies, are active throughout the Southern and Northern Caribbean. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez and Nicolás Maduro, President of Venezuela, both provided extensive speeches on national television today, September 1st, declaring that the United States would not enter Venezuelan territory, and if they did, we are prepared to full-scale war. Meanwhile, we are not sure how that war could start, since Donald Trump is about to have disappeared for almost a week, and recent photographs of him show a significant body decline. He has not been heard. He has not appeared on videos, and there is speculation that Truth Social posts are being written by intern staff. Will Donald Trump, if extremely ill, give the order to provoke war against Venezuela? That is a likely option, considering that when people are about to die, they tend to get in a bad mood, as they see that they will not enjoy life for too much longer, and all the resentments get afloat suddenly as to express their inconformity with the futility of human life that has a beginning and an end. The focus on the global scale, however, shifts to Tianjin, China, where the Shanghai conference is taking place, and we could see a famous picture of President Modi, President Putin, and President Xi of India, Russia, and China holding hands and declaring that Asia is the new superpower. The United States is no longer relevant. International commerce does no longer need to be conducted in United States dollars. And in recent days, we even saw Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia suggesting that Saudi Arabia will sell oil to China in Chinese yuan. The United States dollar has been devaluing quickly, and the most prudent will be just to take notice of this information and monitor economic events during the next few weeks, as economic results from any given policy tend to follow a lag of time. It is interesting that in this Shanghai Tianjin summit, North Korean President Kim Jong-un will meet in person for the first time with a number of world leaders, suggesting that previous isolation of North Korea has become part of history from now on, and North Korea will be a welcome new member of the international community. Ukraine continues to be destroyed by Russian army. NATO cannot do anything. F-16s appear to be failing junk that falls off the sky at any time. The city of Odessa should become in full Russian possession at any time. Ursula von der Leyen from Europe has no clue on what to do whatsoever. And once Russia militarily defeats Ukraine for good, lots of resources will be available to be redeployed to the Caribbean to finally deter to the United States back to their home country where they belong. Colombian President Petro once again specified that a United States invasion into Venezuela would be a continental disgrace that would change forever the history of the continent, while 7 United States military bases remain within Colombian territory, suggesting that President Petro will soon start arrangements to have such bases dismantled. This is provoking anger reaction to sectors of Colombian society who would prefer to remain as a colony of the United States, and even a source close to the Colombian military suggested that Gustavo Petro should be ousted because he no longer runs the country properly. Colombian electoral campaign, however, will develop during the year 2026, and these kinds of accusations will become more common. Focus in Venezuela, however, remains on deterrence of a number of United States ships that have been deployed near our waters. And even though Lake Erie will be decommissioned after current exercises and Iwo Jima is being confined to southern Puerto Rico waters, we still need a clarification from the United States military on the exact activities that are being programmed for those ships. The Venezuelan military has been working wonderfully, protecting Venezuelan borders from enemy intrusions, and it would be a nightmare to imagine that either Edmundo González Urrutia or Maria Corina Machado, if they were commanders-in-chief of the Venezuelan army, they would probably not be able to deter American invasion armies into Venezuela, which would probably provide them our petroleum and mineral resources. As we wait for Guyana election results, the hot topic of the usage of petroleum royalties that must be paid by ExxonMobil and other extracting companies to the Guyanese government and Guyanese businesses and Guyanese people is relevant because Venezuela made many mistakes in the past. At some points we had an overvalued Bolivar as there were too many dollars. At other points we had a very devalued Bolivar as we exceeded our capacity to import, and Venezuelan monetary policy in general has been a complete failure during many decades. And we would like to warn Guyana to make sure that they do not repeat Venezuela's mistakes, as Guyana is right now in an oil boom, which is expected to end at any time due to geopolitical reasons that could accrue at any time. Once Guyana ceases to be seen as an important country, because as we know, when you are an ally of the United States, you are just waiting for United States opportunity to betray you and punish you with tariffs or sanctions. That has happened to every single country, and that will continue happening until we reach a multipolar world. That is why it is so necessary that every single country on earth supports Venezuela in deterring unlawful United States invasion, as it has been appropriately stressed out by Venezuela's opposition leader Enrique Capriles Radonsky, who is a patriot, and he does not want our country to be invaded, but instead he proposes national and international dialogue and negotiation, which could perhaps include a summit between Presidents Donald Trump and Nicolas Maduro. However, since it seems that Donald Trump might be unfit to continue governing the United States much longer, maybe such dialogue would have to be organized between Vice President Mike Pence and President Nicolas Maduro. If not Mike Pence, J.D. Vance, between Vice President J.D. Vance and President Nicolas Maduro. Vice President J.D. Vance seems a more organized person than Donald Trump. His ideas are well entrenched, but he defends them well. Meritocracy could come back to the United States, as he would be focused on clear methodologies and results. A lot of people say that Vance could be even worse than Donald Trump, because at least Donald Trump is utterly incompetent and never gets anything done, and that's why Donald Trump is called Taco. Trump always chickens out. However, that is not the case with J.D. Vance, who is very organized, and he has intelligent people who surround him, hardworking people, and J.D. Vance could probably impose his hardline agenda. However, there is no information on what would be a specific Venezuela-oriented policy for J.D. Vance. Marco Rubio is expected to arrive into Mexico City at any time. He will try to convince President Claudia Sheinbaum to support United States invasion to Venezuela, while Claudia Sheinbaum repeated times has denied such foreign policy as intervention is forbidden by Mexican Constitution. We shall be very interested in knowing what the new political situation will emerge in Guyana, and our hope is that the new congressional or regional governments in Guyana are not so entrenched into war language so used by Irfaan Ali, whose police and military are already being accused of lots of violations of human rights of anyone who is rooting for greater dialogue with neighbor Venezuela.